Football Sunday is back, ladies and gentlemen. And in week one, your Seattle Seahawks grabbed a 38-25 win against the Atlanta Falcons. Feels good. Because coming into this game, I wasn't supremely confident. The Seattle Seahawks were only 2-point favorites, and Pete Carroll's record against Dan Quinn is 2-2. Yeah. And one of those two games that he's beaten Dan Quinn, I was actually there. Last season in October, Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And when I saw that game was Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, Marty Schottenheimer, and the gang doing well in the first half, and then just kind of petering out in the second half and having the Atlanta Falcons put up a bunch of fucking points in the second half. And I thought, by the way it started, it figured to be the same ordeal. And I thought, oh, here we go. -2 seems like a bullshit spread because you have Matt Ryan just slicing and dicing with his little dagger, his ice dagger. And when you have that new acquisition in Todd Gurley, who knows the Seattle Seahawks, who knows how to fuck with Pete Carroll's brain, you're not going to have a great time. Calvin Ridley's a great receiver. And guess what, kids? Julio Jones is the best receiver in the National Football League. He is number one. But Michael Thomas did this. But DeAndre Hopkins did this. It's Julio. I don't even like the Atlanta Falcons, and I know Julio Jones is the best receiver in the fucking league. Unfortunately for the Atlanta Falcons, sometimes he gets underutilized or not used as efficiently. So in the first quarter, the Atlanta Falcons are only able to take away 3 points. Young Ho Koo, fellow Korean boy. And yeah, again, I'm not partial to the Atlanta Falcons team at all. I'm a Seahawks fan. They kicked our ass a couple years ago in the divisional round. I hated that shit. I still remember that thing. But, as a fellow Korean cat, I'm going to give a shout out to Young Ho Koo. Man's just, I don't know, a beast-legged Korean boy living in ATL. But while you have the big dick stud in Young Ho Koo in Atlanta, we got the big dick stud known as Russell Wilson over here in Seattle. And man, Russell Wilson on the first drive where he's on the field, he is just on another level. And I'm not going to lie to you, boys and girls. I will fully admit to you that I am a Russell Wilson fanboy. Seattle Seahawks fan, obviously, of course. But Russell Wilson, I will defend this guy to the high heavens. And games like this is exactly why I say Russell Wilson is an elite quarterback. He is top 2, top 3, no problem. Because this dude was just killing it. Just killing it. I mean, you have Grady Jarrett, who is an awesome weapon on defense, giving Russell Wilson a fucking problem. And fair play. I mean, part of the O-line was a little bit shaky at times today. But Russell Wilson was the fucking man. And in the first quarter, Chris Carson gets a receiving touchdown from Russell Wilson's just delectable fucking balls. And that sounds weird, but hey, he delivered 7 fucking perfect passes in that drive. And Atlanta now feels like they need to retaliate real quick. And what ends up happening at the end of Atlanta's drive in this, trail of retaliation is Matty Ice's first of 4 fourth down attempts, which this one failed miserably because Mayoa just bitch slapped that ball back to the goddamn ground. And Russell Wilson was just stirring the pot. He wasn't even stirring the pot at this point in the first quarter. He was just grabbing out the pans, getting all the goddamn, salts and all the fucking condiments and shit out. And, laying out the ingredients and telling you good motherfuckers in his, super dorky, nerdy ass way of talking of, hey, we're going to cook all this stuff up and it's going to be a punch out. Ha ha. And so Russell Wilson getting the ball back just meant, all right, we are going to have a party. We are going to have a show. And a show he delivered. Another touchdown by Chris Carson, receiving with about 53 seconds left to go in the first quarter. And I got to give a shout out to Damian Lewis on this touchdown. Rookie, right tackle, if I'm not mistaken, on the position that he was playing on the offensive line today. And the dude was just creating enough ample space for Chris Carson to just have a wide open ball. And honestly, I felt pretty good about, the Seattle Seahawks outlook after that. But simultaneously, I understood that this is kind of the same team from last season, although we did add a couple of weapons, and namely Quentin Dunbar and Jamal Adams, who did appear in today's game. And holy hell, Jamal Adams was all over the place. Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner, and yeah, kudos to Mayowa. I mean, those three cats were just on another plane in the defense today. And unfortunately, despite their heroics, despite their good plays here and there, Todd Gurley gashes the Seattle Seahawks defense with a rushing touchdown. 11 minutes, just not even into the fucking second quarter. It's not even 11 minutes in, man. You know how it says 11 minutes left to go in the second quarter? That's what I mean to say. And sometimes, kids, I fuck my words up because I'm a goddamn dum-dum. And this dum-dum knows that if you don't make your PATs, you're not going to have a great time. It's a lot of what ifs if you don't make that shit. And unfortunately, the Korean boy Koo misses the PAT, and still the Seattle Seahawks are up 14-9 after Gurley's touchdown. And this is where, man, Atlanta's defense doesn't get enough praise, at least with the D-line, because Grady Jarrett and Dante Fowler were just studs. They get a combined sack on Russell Wilson after Gurley scores, and there were moments in this game, where Russell was great today all game, but there were moments where he just hesitated a little bit, and he did take the 3 sacks overall. But, Atlanta's D-line is pretty damn good. I'll admit that. And, I'm going to be honest. Over the years of doing these Seahawks reviews, I'm more and more partial to complimenting opposition players if they're doing well. Even though if it's a rival fan, I don't like them, I'll still find something nice to say. Although, what's nice is getting a quarterback that you don't like getting sacked by a new player that is going to be my new best friend in Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams sacking Matt Ryan was probably the best feeling watching that game. Like, yeah, fuck you, Matt Ryan. Good. You suck. What's your fucking problem with Matt Ryan? He's mediocre as hell. He had that one good year. And then he just kind of... He's not shit. I don't think he's below the Dalton line, right? That whole idea of, average quarterbacks, if they're above and beyond the Dalton line, who is supposed to be like a very bang average quarterback. But I think he's like right there on the fucking Dalton line with marginal peaks and shit here and there. But Matt Ryan was just kind of getting wrecked in the first half. Despite, the points still being put up on the board, but Jamal Adams was just all over the place today. And it was kind of a beauty to watch this dude and thinking, how much did you hate Adam Gase? How much did you hate Adam Gase and the New York Jets that you were just flying free in Seattle? Personally, I love it. As a Seattle Seahawks fan, I want to see this cat thrive. I want to see this cat and Jamal Adams, bring back up the defense and into just this elite level. And man, you have Seattle's defense, having their fun. And then, on the other side, Russell was having a bit of trouble because Atlanta's defense was pretty physical. They were getting at him a lot of times. And I'm telling you, that D-line was just a huge fucking problem, along with Todd Gurley, who, in terms of fantasy points, he's not going to be the stud that everybody's going to suck off this weekend, but he was causing problems for the Seattle Seahawks in that first half. They just couldn't stop him, and it felt like a typical, run-in with the Rams whenever, Todd Gurley and Jared Goff and the entire Rams gang would, fuck up the Seattle defense. And unfortunately, to kill off, time in the second quarter and time dwindling down, Atlanta Falcons are in prime position for a field goal. And of course, the Korean boy extraordinaire, Young-Ho Koo, goes ahead and gets the field goal to get the game very close. Seattle only leading 14-12. Now, you go into halftime thinking, okay, you're only leading by 2, which, by the sportsbook odds, I mean, you're just right there. But now you're going to have the ball back, right? You're going to have the ball back on offense when you come back out there. You have to try to shave off the time, but also, put some goddamn points on the board. So meaningful extended drives to constantly put that pressure in Atlanta. And, frustratingly, we start off with DK Metcalf just dropping a perfect pass from Russell Wilson. And listen, I'm wearing my DK Metcalf jersey, and I was screaming at the television, like, how the fuck do you drop that? I love you, my boy, but my God, how do you drop that? But funny enough, this is a team of guys who pick themselves back up and keep on going, and DK certainly did that. 3rd and 7. He goes ahead and catches the ball very short of the first down, but he's able to extend out and advance the play, so he gets the first down. And man, I thought, cool, we're keeping this going. Russell staying hot, and to keep that heat on it to the Atlanta Falcons, Russell is just cooking. He's just cooking. And on a 4th and 5, because the third down kind of fizzled out and the drive itself was a bit suspect because, pressure from the defense and all that. But 4th and 5, Russ just said, fuck it. He said, fuck it. DK running straight down the field on the left. Russ just pops the ball up. It's a 38-yard touchdown. And holy crap, Russell Wilson at that point just coming out with the response, to start the second half. And it really is in this third quarter where the Atlanta Falcons' chances just completely died off. And what's really unfortunate, again, is the fact that Matt Ryan, as much as people, praise the guy and laud the guy for, being an MVP a couple years back, this dude will fail at critical times. Oh, but 4th down doesn't mean shit. Dude, this was the second 4th down, if I'm not mistaken? I'm going to go through my notes here real quick, kids. This was the second fucking 4th down for Matt Ryan in the third quarter. And you know what's sad? When you watch something happen, right, like a 4th down happen, and you think, oh, they're not going to make it, and they don't fucking make it, that's pretty fucking sad. I'm not saying, I know my shit, is all scripted, whatever. But my whole thing is, bro, if you're that scripted, if you are that telling, if you are that anemic in terms of how you play the 4th down, that's a fucking problem. And I will criticize Matt Ryan relentlessly because of that. And, towards the tail end of this video, we're going to talk about some of the stats for, these quarterbacks. But honestly, Matt Ryan shit doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't. Because in critical moments, he amounted to nothing. He didn't. Whereas the Seattle Seahawks, man, you have Russell Wilson just clinically eating shit up. It is just a blast to watch this as a Seattle Seahawks fan. And if you're just a neutral football fan who's watching the, Dan Quinn clown show here with the Atlanta Falcons, you're thinking, really? How many fucking times are you going to pass this shit with Matt Ryan, who's not doing well at all, relatively speaking? Todd Gurley's actually a pretty good fucking factor you could put in there. But here they go. Here they fucking go, Dan Quinn and the Atlanta Falcons clown show. Opening the goddamn floodgates for Russell Wilson to just have on, his fun. And his fun comes in the form of just passing it to all these weapons now. Now, David Moore almost fumbled the ball, right, in this third quarter, but he kept that shit up, thankfully. And because of that, the drive ends with the Greg Olsen touchdown, and it's his 60th touchdown in his career. Having such a sturdy veteran is pretty fantastic. Greg Olsen, just steady hands, has been awesome first outing with the Seattle Seahawks. And, man, Russell Wilson putting the team up 28-12 is just a brilliant thing to watch. But on the other side, as much as I'm shitting on Matt Ryan, you have this guy named Julio Jones, best receiver in the league, just waiting for someone to throw a decent ball to him. And when you just be... My words aren't coming out because I just get so fucking irritated with Matt Ryan. Motherfucker, if you just played competently, if you just played decently enough, my God, you can utilize Julio Jones to win games. What? Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ. Julio Jones is just that fucking next level dude. Despite the mediocrity laid in front of him by Matt Ryan, despite the subpar fucking nature of Dan Quinn's head coaching, Julio Jones is there. You throw him just a decent enough ball, he'll catch it. He'll give you a fucking chance. And that he does. He gets you into the red zone. No goddamn problem. But what the hell happens? Another goddamn fourth down play. And yes, Jamal Adams was fucking this shit up all around for the Atlanta Falcons, but holy crap! Matt Ryan, again! Holding the ball a little too long this time around in the third, fourth down, a little too long. And Mayowa, sacked that motherfucker down. First he gets a sack in the first fourth down attempt, and in the third fourth down attempt, Mayowa gets a sack. Well, he gets a swat and then the sack. So, double S's. S&S. And boy, oh boy, you have Russell Wilson on the other side just chomping at the bits when Matt Ryan fails miserably in, these fourth down situations. And you're just hoping, all right, then let's put up more points, kill these motherfuckers. Because by the time the fourth quarter starts, you're thinking, okay, cool, kill time, put more points up, teabag them if you need to, because that's what I want to see as a fan, personally. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't believe in the mercy rule. I don't. If you're losing, you're losing. And if I'm beating you 50-10, do something about it, bitch. And so that's the mentality I wanted the Seattle Seahawks to have. Unfortunately, back-to-back-to-back penalties doesn't really help. I shouted out Damian Lewis earlier, but this is where I have to kind of shit on Damian Lewis. I know you're a rookie, but bro, penalty for you, right? I think it was a holding or a false start. Greg Olsen falls out with the fucking penalty. Then Damian Lewis again, ball falls out with a penalty. And 3rd and 19, boys. 3rd and bloody 19. It's frustrating because you can have a potential chance to just slice them in their throat. But that's all right. Because Russell Wilson is able to get a 16-yard ball out to Swain and good enough for, a field goal range, and Myers capitalizes, putting the Seattle Seahawks up 31 to 12, if I'm not mistaken, on the fucking points there. Sometimes my math is bad, kids. Sometimes my math is bad. But more often than not, I think Dan Quinn's math might be worse than mine. Because, again, you have Julio Jones all throughout the game, yet you're just now in the fourth quarter realizing, maybe we should use Julio Jones for big plays. And look, Matt Ryan's not sucking ass all that much in a short time frame. Let's maybe utilize that. And they did. And this is where frustratingly Seattle gives up these freebie points in the fourth quarter. And, I'll argue all day these garbage yards, garbage touchdowns relative to the context of the entire game, right? In terms of points and how that shit, happened out. These Calvin Ridley touchdowns were absolutely meaningless. Matt Ryan fails on a 2-point conversion to only make the game 31-18. So as a Seahawks fan, you're not really sweating all that much. And maybe that's a bit of an arrogance factor, but you're heading in, with only a couple minutes left in the fourth quarter, thinking, man, Russell's, hot all day. What am I worried about? DK. Unfortunately, DK wasn't one thing that we had to worry about. I mean, he dropped another great pass, somehow very late in this fourth quarter. And having Atlanta back on offense just felt frustrating again. I thought, if DK just didn't drop that pass, we would have been, probably putting Geno Smith as a quarterback. Russell won't let that happen. But you know what I mean? In terms of, energy and just vibe of, being in that game, you're going to, ease off a little bit. But Atlanta's back on offense. And, it was becoming a problem where you're thinking, okay, 3rd and 3. They convert this is a problem. And they can score, bring the game way too close, potentially 31-26, making it less than a possession, right? I mean, well, a possession, right? But you know what the fuck I mean, man. It's way too close for my liking. But here we are on another fourth down. On another fourth down, kids. Matt Ryan has the ball. And just incomplete pass. 4 for 4 on missing fourth downs. It's nuts. It's nuts. And if the Seattle Seahawks didn't make the point gap so wide, DK Metcalf missing and then subsequently catching right after his bad misses would have been nuttier. But Matt Ryan's 4 for 4 misses on fourth downs where it was just something to behold. And Russell Wilson getting the ball back on that turnover on downs, he's able to capitalize. He's able to just teabag on the Atlanta Falcons. David Moore making a very clutch catch down the field. Russell Wilson magic again, running and escaping, doing all this magical shit. And it's Carlos Hyde who gets the ultimate stabber, ultimate, game ender touchdown with about 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter, 38-18. And, no matter what happened after this, I think there wasn't any real worry. Just based on how the Atlanta Falcons were kind of coming up on the offense, it wasn't really a huge concern in my mind. And again, Calvin Ridley getting a touchdown, Matt Ryan getting the stat boost. It's like, okay, cool. You're a garbage time fantasy football quarterback bullshit asshole. Who gives a shit? Although, Young Hoku, man, he got another onside kick today. Did you know that shit? This Korean dude can fucking... He can kick some goddamn onside kicks. This shit is unbelievably impressive. And you get the onside kick, and Matt Ryan, to seal the game, throws an interception to Quandre Diggs. And that's all you need to know about Matt Ryan's whole episode in week 1. And I know Falcons fans have to relentlessly defend Matt Ryan. They have to relentlessly defend this MVP, like the fucking Carolina Panthers fan who was defending Cam Newton. But I said, listen, MVP doesn't mean shit. The eye test and all the fucking games over the last few years have shown you Matt Ryan is a bang average fucking quarterback who, at his peak, can be an MVP. But relatively speaking and consistently looking at it, he's bang average. Listen, 37 completed pass on 53 attempts, 450 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and holy crap, 4 for 4 in missed fourth down attempts. That doesn't instill any sort of confidence as a leader of men. I mean, I listen, kudos to Mark Schlereth on the commentary today. Dude was brilliant. He was hilarious and fantastic. But you had this dude talking about Matt Ryan being a fucking leader. Like, you could be a leader, but if the fucking entire boat is sinking, who gives a shit who's leading it? And this is the thing the Atlanta Falcons have to figure out eventually over the next year and a half or so. Dan Quinn is not the answer. Dan Quinn has never been the answer. After 28-3, that should have been apparently obvious. Julio Jones is being wasted as Matt Ryan's backup option. It's frustrating. I don't like Atlanta Falcons. I don't like them. But when I see good talent being wasted, that frustrates me more. And so I'll say this about the Atlanta Falcons before we talk about the boy Russell. Matt Ryan is not going to get you fucking anywhere anymore. His peak was Super Bowl 51, and we all know how that shit turned out. Most of the staff that was involved in Super Bowl 51 needs to be axed now. Because there is good potential in this team. There are certain players who, if you build around them, right? If you put enough pieces, adequate pieces, backup and depth to bolster that, you will have a good team in Atlanta. But right now, you are stuck in sub 500. That sucks, but that's the reality. And I don't mean to be a dick. But the Falcons have to really stop it with the self-delusional shit. They're not that competitive anymore. Matt Ryan is a real bang average quarterback, and he's not going to get you to the next step. Not now. You know who does get a team to the next step? Russell Wilson. I'm going to be a bit of an arrogant prick today. I'm not going to lie. Because Russell Wilson, 31 completed passes on 35 attempts, man. Or 30 on 34, depending on which website you're using. I actually use the score, so I have 30 completed passes on 34 attempts, 319 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Damn near perfect. Almost fumbled a little bit there early in the game, but Russell Wilson was just absolutely spectacular. Watching him today move around the way he did, throw the ball around the way he did, and the amount of passes he attempted was just sublime. Obviously, Chris Carson, 2 receiving touchdowns, and not a lot of yards logged in the rushing numbers and attempts, but in all honesty, you don't need that. Russell Wilson was cooking, and that's all we fucking needed to go off of. And a win is fantastic. A win is fantastic to start it off. Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner on defense were notable studs. Mayowa deserves a massive shout. I honestly think the cornerbacks were the only real glaring issues in the Seattle defense. But other than that, next week, if we can just kind of fortify that O-line, because the New England Patriots are going to be a fucking problem in Sunday Night Football. So we got to get at it, boys. So go Hawks! What a fucking win in week 1. And in week 2, we will see you there on Sunday Night Football. So boys and girls, follow me at the Sky Lounge on all the links in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe for more daily contents. Fuck off. Go Hawks.